Happening now, a Jamestown police lieutenant makes a plea for equipment funding. Plus, a truck carrying precious cargo flips over due to slick roadways. This morning, we'll look at the cleanup efforts now underway.
Well, that lake effect snow machine dumped a good bit of snow through the overnight hours. We'll talk about how much and that forecast coming up as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
A Jamestown police officer made another plea for more funding to upgrade equipment within his department during last night's City Council meeting. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Police Lieutenant Sam Piazza, the president of the Kendo Club PBA, the department's union, addressed the council during their work session on Monday evening at City Hall. Piazza explains how Police Chief Tim Jackson constructed a wish list for the 2022 budget. The lieutenant says, however, that Jackson didn't place luxury items on that list.
It wasn't for a lavish new police station. It wasn't for a Bearcat for the SWAT team. It wasn't for all this extra equipment. Again, the chief, what he requested was the bare minimum stuff for us to do our jobs. New patrol cars, possibly new staff.
He says that an increase in staffing would help new officers be more comfortable while working independently. He furthers that the patrol cars are taking a beating since they're used constantly. The chief also requested 5 new cars as part of his original budget request. Meanwhile, Jamestown's mayor has vetoed several changes made by lawmakers to his proposed 2022 budget. Mayor Eddie Sundquist announced the news in a release to the media ahead of last night's meeting. Sundquist vetoed changes to wages for key management employees, calling for increased wages. He also vetoed changes to the building maintenance budget and the Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency code enforcement budget, asking for both to be fully funded. Furthermore, the mayor vetoed the reduction in his travel and education budget, along with a reduction in his stationary budget, calling for the funding to return to pre-pandemic levels. Finally, Sundquist wants funding for the Jamestown Human Rights Commission, a group established earlier this year in response to police brutality nationwide.
Had we spoken to council members about those or had discussions about those, we could have resolved those before they became changes to the budget. So now we're at a point where we either have to veto those or try to make a deal on some of those items to move forward.
Last week, the council passed his proposed budget only after making several changes, including the above. The Jamestown City Council president says that the council will be holding a special meeting next Monday at 6:30 to potentially override Mayor Sundquist's vetoes of the adopted budget. Additional cases of the COVID-19 Omicron variant were detected in New York yesterday. Governor Kathy Hochul announced the news, saying 2 of the latest cases were found upstate in Onondaga County, and the other 2 were in Long Island, Suffolk County, bringing the state's tally to 12. Hochul says none of the latest cases were related to a 3-day anime festival in New York City back in November, where a Minnesota man later tested positive for the variant. 3 cases of the variant were announced over the weekend, which at the time brought the number of cases in the Big Apple to 7 on top of the previously confirmed cases out of Long Island. While the emergence of this variant has flooded headlines for the past 2 weeks, health officials say the Delta strain of the virus is the one that's actually driving up hospitalizations across the state. Britt Conway has more on the response now.
This is the winter surge that so many of us predicted.
A COVID-19 surge that's averaging more than 120,000 new cases and more than 1,600 deaths every day.
As the weather turned colder, as we all started spending more time indoors, and as other layers of protection like masks and ventilation started to disappear, we were going to see increased case numbers.
Public health officials say more than 99% of new cases are the Delta variant, but Omicron is spreading. Cases of the variant have been reported in at least 19 states. Emerging evidence shows it may spread more quickly than Delta, but possibly be less severe.
From the virus's standpoint, it wants to do two things. It wants to become more contagious, that way it can continue to spread, but it also wants to become less virulent, less likely to cause severe disease. It's never to the virus's advantages to kill you, because then it can't be transmitted anymore. It needs you to reproduce itself.
Which could play to our advantage.
You have a virus that could knock out a more virulent strain like Delta and evolve to what would be the best case scenario, evolve to essentially a common cold-like virus.
But experts say there's still more to learn about Omicron. In the meantime,
our best protection are these vaccines.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Britt, thank you. The Chautauqua County Health Department is expected to provide their weekly update tomorrow. Well, the Jamestown area police community is asking for donations to help a family impacted by a weekend house fire. Jamestown Police Detective Matt Catcher-Myers' Town Line Road home caught fire on Sunday afternoon. The Chautauqua Blue Lives Matter Facebook group and advocate for local law enforcement says the detective, his wife Corrine, and their young twins were not home at the time the fire occurred. However, they lost their beloved pets and extensive fire and water damage did happen. Because of the fire's close proximity to Christmas, the Jamestown Police Department family is asking for monetary donations to help the couple and their kids. Community members who would like to make a donation can send the money electronically via Venmo. We have more details posted at our site, WNYNewsNow.com. The Sheriff's Office investigation team says the fire started on accident after naturally combustible oil soaked in rags inside of a bucket sparked that blaze. And a truck full of booze overturned while rounding a curve in Chautauqua County early this morning amid a blast of lake effect snow. Kennedy Volunteer Fire Department Chief Keith Bean tells our WNY News Now's crew that heavy snow and slick roads likely caused the crash at the intersection of Quaint and Clay Pond Road near the village of Falconer. No injuries were reported as a result. However, over 2,000 pounds of alcohol was left in the back of the truck, making cleanup difficult. Specifically, the chief is concerned with firefighter safety today.
Very dangerous, and it's not our responsibility to unload the semi-truck.
Gotcha.
It's up to the trucking company to unload it. The sides are very slippery. It's not made to be walked on, so our fire boots make it very slippery. I'm not going to have anybody in there fall down and get injured.
He says it could take several hours for the kegs to be removed from the truck by hand. While that work's underway, the intersection will remain closed. The Falconer Volunteer Fire Department also responded there. Certainly what a cold morning for many as we dug out. Let us know what you think about this and more in the comments down below for those of you watching us on Facebook Live. And we thank you for joining us on Roku as well, channel 716. If you haven't added it to your lineup yet, you can do so easily right now by just searching channel 716 and add it for free today. It's great to see Susan, good to see Misty, good to see Pam. Afternoon to Carol, Cindy, Charlie, Wendy, and Dave. Happy Tuesday to all of you. And yeah, it's a cold one and a pretty snowy one out there. I had a little trouble actually coming in this morning. It was just a slow go on I-86. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us now live with a first look at our weather forecast. And Dakota, I think most of the weather cameras around the area are probably telling the same story. It's snowy out there.
Yes, it has been. It's been a snowy morning out there, especially overnight and this morning. Let's take a live look at the Findlay Lake sky cam, and even the snow has started to taper off there. There's still going to be a few more snow showers around, but it's a cold day. 26 is the temperature at Findlay Lake right now, and First Defense Doppler radar shows you that lake effect snow. This has been kind of a steady state snow that's been coming through overnight and then through the morning today, and we're going to see a few more lake snow showers as this lake effect continues through the afternoon hours, and we may pick up at least a couple more inches worth of snowfall out of that. 49 was the high yesterday, but as we mentioned yesterday, that was early in the day. Temperatures slid all the way down through the lower 30s. 24 is where we started the day. 69 and 4 below are the records for the state. So through the afternoon, scattered lake effect snow showers continue in pockets. We'll pick up an additional 1 to 3 inches in the heaviest amounts of snow. Cold and cloudy, 24 to 30. That's it, with a west wind 10 to 25. But if you don't like winter, some signs could be we could be getting much warmer By next week, we'll talk about it with that ultimate satellite solution 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
Yes, Mr. Hunter, we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. That's kind of crazy news. I sort of got a preview of the forecast, and it's looking really, really warm, all things considered, for December. So we'll see you back here. Well, in Pennsylvania, the Wolf administration is warning of bad actors, which are seeking to prey on your generosity this holiday season. Charity scams often come in the form of a fake charitable organization, and officials say there are a number of red flags that can help you spot one. Things like high-pressure solicitations, donation requests via gift cards or wire transfers, or a name that's similar to a legitimate charitable organization are all red flags that point to a scammer. For additional tips on how to spot these scams and for a charity verification link, check out our website, WNYNewsNow.com. Well, whether it was the gusty winds or New England's unrelenting running attack, the Buffalo Bills' two biggest deficiencies this season were exposed yet again last night. An inability to effectively run the ball or stop the run combined with a string of self-inflicted errors led to the 14-10 loss to the New England Patriots that may have cost Buffalo its best chance at repeating as AFC East champs and perhaps to put the Bills in jeopardy of missing the playoffs altogether. In outgaining Buffalo 222-99 on the ground, the Patriots moved 2 wins ahead of the Bills in the division and are now the number 1 seed in their conference. It wasn't just that the Patriots beat the Bills, but the manner in which they did. It was in the face of 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. New England's rookie quarterback Mac Jones attempted only 3 passes, completing 2 for 19 yards as the Patriots ran up and down the field against, and at times right through, the Bills. Buffalo is now 3-4 in its past 7 and hasn't won consecutive games since clapping a 4-0 run with a 38-20 win over Kansas City back in October. They're the only team with a winning record the Bills have defeated this year. The team goes on to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday afternoon. Coming up, New York Senator Chuck Schumer pushing for more student loan extensions. And later, what experts say you can do to break those bad habits ahead of this holiday season. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Hi, I'm Al Steffens, owner of Chautauqua Comics. For the last 28 years, we have been your premier retailer of comic books. But we have so much more.
Located at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown, the shelves are stocked with everything from superhero to classic G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Looking for Pokemon? Chautauqua Comics has it all.
If you have any questions, stop in today or give us a call. Chautauqua Comics, Al speaking.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
4 men have been sentenced for their role in separate burglaries across Chautauqua County. Chautauqua County District Attorney Jason Schmidt announced the news as a result of recent cases this week, with 28-year-old Tori Kinney, 23-year-old Kevin Philbrick, 45-year-old Ryan Tarana, and 25-year-old Christian Powell all spending time in state prison. First, yesterday, Kenny was sentenced to 4 years intermediate in state prison and 5 years parole after he was convicted of second-degree attempted burglary, that a Class D violent felony connected to a crime in Westfield. Additionally, Philbrick will spend up to 4 years in state prison after he was convicted of third-degree robbery, a Class D felony, and 2 counts of second-degree attempted assault, that a Class E felony, in connection with crimes here in Jamestown. Tarana was sentenced to 1 to 3 years intermediate in state prison following a plea to third-degree burglary in connection with the 2016 Westfield break-in. And then finally, the DA says Tarana violated his parole while committing that crime. Powell will spend 1 to 3 years behind bars after pleading guilty in October to third-degree burglary, a Class D felony. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office assisted in the arrest and investigation of that robbery, which took place in July. Well, New York Senator Chuck Schumer says the pause in requiring people to make their student loan payments needs to be extended. The current pause is set to expire at the end of January. Schumer said with the new COVID-19 virus and variant on the rise, the burden of residents will be significant. The senator says New Yorkers owe about $91 billion in student loan debt. Extending the pause will help tens of millions of Americans. Schumer said ultimately he'd like the president to wipe out a chunk of student loan debt, but for now, pressing to extend the pause is the best way forward. Schumer goes on to say the pause will be extended while COVID is still here. Well, Congressman Fred Keller is sponsoring an educational bill that makes it easier for students in short-term occupational programs to qualify for financial aid. He says the legislation is needed to help fill jobs that are in high demand. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp explains.
According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, occupational therapy assistants, solar PV installers, and physical therapy assistants make up some of the fastest growing careers. They don't require a traditional 4-year university education, but rather a 2-year associate's degree, trade school, or on-the-job training. And so Republican Congressman Fred Keller is hoping to make it easier for people to pursue these kinds of careers.
I just have a passion for people that want to learn and be able to, as you can in America, succeed and have that economic independence and that upward mobility. You just need that opportunity, and this is a way to give individuals that are looking for a career that opportunity.
He's co-sponsoring the Choice Act alongside North Carolina Representative Madison Cawthorn, which would allow students in short-term occupational programs to qualify for federal Pell Grants, which are typically only given to low-income undergrad students. Under the Choice Act, people could get federal Pell Grants for vocational, skills-based, on-the-job, and other workforce readiness programs.
Pell Grants are based upon a certain amount of hours that you spend on instruction, okay? We maybe need to look at a shorter time frame or even better competencies on how long does it take a person to get the necessary skills to perform a certain job or trade. And let's look at letting them use Pell Grants for those things rather than just saying it has to be so many hours of instruction.
Keller believes expanding Pell Grant eligibility will pave the way for a stronger workforce.
It's all about making sure our kids have opportunities and have a better chance for success and a better life than what we did.
At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Well, today marks 80 years since the attack on Pearl Harbor. On December 7th, 1941, Japan attacked the U.S. naval base in Hawaii, destroying more than half of the fleet of aircraft and damaging all 8 battleships. Some 2,400 service members and civilians were killed that day. About half were on the USS Arizona. More than 1,100 people injured. 1 day later, December 8, 1941, the U.S. declared war on Japan and officially entered World War II. Certainly a defining day for so many of the greatest generation. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comment section down below. We thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now on Channel 716, and those of you who are watching us live on platforms across the world through Facebook and WNYNewsNow.com. It's great to see Erica, George, Janice, and Renee. Hopefully you all are having a great day. We really appreciate you tuning in as we reflect on this Pearl Harbor Day. And albeit, even though there is a lot of weather situations going on there in Hawaii, Dakota, where they're having some crazy rainfall, looks like their celebrations, and really not so much of a celebration, but their memorials are going to be continuing regardless of the weather. And I always find that so interesting and humbling, I think, when you look at it, where no matter what's happening, whether it's a blizzard or a hurricane, or in this case, torrential rainfall that basically could be a hurricane there in Hawaii, they're still going to continue their day, and they're going to do it safely and honorably. And I think when you look at it, 80 years ago, we entered World War II. It seems so far away for so many, but for some, 80 years, I mean, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people around still who were in World War II or have kind of, the firsthand experience of World War II, which is unfortunate because, some of these people have some amazing stories to tell. And unfortunately, if they don't get to tell their stories, then they're gone,
And I know locally, one of the groups, and one of our partners here with Heritage Ministries, they launched a push last year to try to help document some of not just World War II veterans, but all veterans in their facilities on video of them talking about their experiences while serving our nation. And it's really powerful. If you get a chance, head on over to their site. They have a link up in the corner where you can, anybody in the community can watch. It's on YouTube. And their whole idea with that is just to keep it on there and preserve them forever, because in many cases these stories are dying off. And you look at like that greatest generation, as they called it, right? They came over so many obstacles from the Great Depression and then this world war, the world at war once again for them. Remember, most of them had memories of World War I, who you never would have known, you never would have thought that you'd have what would have been one of the greatest and most influential terrorist attacks on our soil. Many people have compared Pearl Harbor to 9/11 for our generation, and it just, it's when you look at these defining moments, I think so many people stepped up after seeing that attack on Hawaii, and they said, yes, I will serve, let's go. And, it just took off from there. And then ultimately, not to bore people with my history buff too much, but that's eventually what led Hawaii to being a united state as well. They were a territory, and then we moved forward after that and said, well, they should be a state. And it's pretty interesting when you look back at it. But back here at home, a lot of people looking out there towards the snow, and this morning we had a lot of it. You were up at 3 in the morning. What were you doing? You're building a snowman?
Weather people, you see, we mention it all the time. Weather people never sleep. So I was up at 3 in the morning. So I decided, what the hey, I'll take a picture of what's going on. And this is out my living room window. And you can see, the snow was coming on down. Also on Jamestown at 3 in the morning. So again, the snow really came down overnight with those lake effect bands. And this is what we had. These are the totals that we got in this morning from the Weather Service. 10 inches in the town of Ellicott, Falconer 9 inches, Jamestown officially 8.2, Randolph 7 inches, Kennedy 6 inches, and Gary 4.9. So a pretty good chunk of lake effect came over half a foot in many spots. And it was a breezy day yesterday as well. 41 was the peak wind gust at the Jamestown airport yesterday. Some spots actually did reach over 50 miles an hour. Again, that was in the hills and near the Lake Erie shoreline. No snow falling downtown right now, but clouds above 24 at the Jamestown airport, a west wind of 9 and the visibility down to 9 miles. That's obviously due to some snow falling at the airport, and the wind chill 14. Oh, it's a cold day out there. First Defense Doppler radar is showing you that lake effect snow band coming across the southern tier. Looks like the heaviest of it is probably around South Dayton, right on the county line, going into Cattaraugus. That looks like probably where the heaviest part of that lake effect currently is. And this is all in association with that cold front that passed through yesterday. That's why temperatures dropped through the day yesterday. But it has brought in much colder air, and that's going to continue that lake effect snow machine as we go through the day. So the newest run of the computer modeling shows you that lake effect snow continuing through the afternoon hours, and it'll start to taper off a little bit. Then we'll see a start of a sort of a redevelopment of some snow showers coming our way tonight. May mix with a few rain showers, mainly inland away from the Lake Erie shoreline, may mix with a few wet rain showers. Then a few more snow showers return for the day on Wednesday, but Thursday should dry out and we should get a mainly dry day. And this is something we hinted going into the first weather. We hinted about warm weather will be coming our way. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and this goes all the way until the week of Christmas. So December 20th, it looks like a lot warmer air. We're talking maybe 40s and maybe 50s. So green Christmas right now. So, you know, if you're hoping for a white Christmas, in the cards right now, but we'll see where it goes. 20 to 28 tonight, scattered snow showers 1 to 2 inches. Now the next 7 days of your life are flying up on the screen. 29 tomorrow with a passing snow shower, mostly cloudy through the day on Thursday. Friday, a few rain showers. Saturday, up to almost 60 with the scattered to widespread rain showers. Then temperatures go back down again, but stay tuned for next week. We could get much warmer than that 41 that's printed there on Monday. So we'll take a break and be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the southern tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
We all have bad habits, and some of those less desirable tendencies may come out more often during the busy holidays or in times of stress. Experts say there's a key to breaking this bad habit cycle. Mandy Gaither explains.
From junk food to smoking, you may have some bad habits you're trying to break. The key to stopping that cycle is knowing how the habit forms, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
It starts with a trigger. Maybe you're bored, maybe you're stressed. Then comes the behavior. And finally, the reward, that feeling of satisfaction.
Experts say a bad habit must be broken at the reward phase.
When you get to that part of the cycle, focus on the way this habit makes you really feel. Take smoking, for instance. A study showed that when smokers focused on the way their cigarettes taste and the way it made them feel, those people had a higher success rate of curbing the habit.
According to the Cleveland Clinic, breaking a bad habit starts with preparing yourself to be uncomfortable, creating a game plan, and setting realistic goals. Establish incentives to keep you going in the right direction. Maintain your goals by having a strategy to help in times you feel challenged. Keep temptation away. Finally, recognize it's a journey.
So the next time you reach for your smartphone, that extra piece of pizza, that glass of wine, ask yourself, how does it really make you feel? And is it worth it?
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Great advice, Mandy. Thank you. They say in the end to be patient because it could take a couple of weeks. Well, that's it for us today. News 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day.